Hello, happy Friday if you're watching this now, and happy whatever day it is if you're watching it on another day. Um, this is what I refer to as Time with Tim. It's a monthly sort of discussion about what I'm experiencing, what I'm seeing, what I'm discussing with clients that we're servicing, and really a little bit about what's going on with me. And what I'm going to focus on today is what has been one of the most prominent parts of most conversations that I've had with friends, colleagues, clients over the last 2 weeks, which is COP26. And I'm going to share some thoughts here that I've shared consistently over the last couple of weeks, and I thought might be of interest, and see what kind of discussion and or debate comes from this. So feel free to comment and, of course, be civil, but, I'd be really interested in what you think about this. So essentially, what is my interpretation of what COP26 is all about? And my interpretation as someone who has a very active interest in the role of leaders in any substantial change, but particularly right now, what are the role of leaders at all levels in all places in addressing the climate crisis? So this is the neatest summation that I can get of my take on COP. Is it's about acknowledgement, and in particular, it seems to be, to my interpretation, about acknowledgement of three things: the severity of the crisis, where the focus is, and what we can expect from our current systems. So, firstly, the severity of the crisis. Now, it seems that for the most part, there has been a shift away from denial into acknowledgement. There is a variation of acknowledgement, yes, but we do seem to have seen a shift away from basically ignoring the issue or trying to kind of whitewash over the problem. And just overnight, we've seen some really interesting language in the announcement by America and China that they are going to work collaboratively, and both parties recognizing that this is an existential challenge. They did not use the word threat, but they put existential in there, which is kind of the operative part, right? So there seems to be an acknowledgement in a very real sense that this is a problem of significant magnitude. And I think there's some progress there. So acknowledgement of where the focus is. I actually think that for the most part, people have shown up to COP authentically and really said what they think and stated their position. And that we can see within those positions that for some, the focus is on the need for essentially immediate and significant, bordering on radical change. For others, the focus is on defense and digging in and maintaining the status quo for as long as possible, or as long as can be maintained. And that is to be expected, right? When you're dealing with any kind of change anywhere, in my experience, you see these two ends of the spectrum every time. And potentially on another occasion, I can dig into my understanding of all of the reasons for that, the neurological reasons, the cultural norming reasons, the behavioral reasons. But that's not for today. But I think that's very much what we've seen. And I think to an extent, that's actually not just okay, that's a good thing. You actually know what you're dealing with when people rock up and they say, well, no, I think, fossil fuels are still part of the solution here and should be part of the transition, and we just need to make them clean. They're stating a position, and that position is defend the status quo for as long as possible. So we know what we're dealing with. The other thing then, and this is I think where there is a real acknowledgement here, is really what can we expect from our current systems? Our current systems of government, our current systems of economy, our current theories, systems and processes of leadership. We know what we can expect from them. I think, honestly, whatever comes out of the sort of confirmation document that is now being drafted and will be forthcoming in the next couple of days, what comes from that is, I think, really the best we can expect from these current systems, right? That nobody seems to be pulling the wool over anyone's eyes in terms of the severity of the problem and where the focus is. So whatever compromise and pledge, because there hasn't been much commitment, so whatever compromise pledge comes out of the closing brief document, that's the best we can expect. And whether or not your view is that whatever that document contains and whatever the position here is enough, that's your view. In the circles that I move in, I think the majority feel that what is likely to come out of this is not going to be enough, and that therefore the expectation that we can have of our current systems is that they're not going to be capable of delivering enough change. Therefore, we need to look to create new ones. Do businesses need to take the lead? Does civil society need to recognize the role that communities play, that they all have an opportunity to participate in? And do we shift our expectations around the contribution of government to address major changes? I think these are fascinating questions and ones that I'm exploring, would love to hear your thoughts on. And I'm not claiming any expertise in any of these arenas. I'll claim a little bit of perhaps knowledge and experience in the leadership domain as a practitioner for over 15 years and spending a lot of time with a lot of people who know a lot about this kind of stuff and a lot more than I do. But the rest of it, I'm an observer and a learner and someone with a great deal of interest. But that's what COP has been for me so far. These are this is a repetition of many conversations had over the last couple of weeks. So just thought I'd share this. Very interested to see what interest you may have. Little plug at the end. This event's been in my LinkedIn feed now for 10 days or so. And thank you to everybody who has shown support for this event. If you're interested in some of the sort of more challenging issues and kind of confronting sides of navigating the climate crisis, looking at climate trauma, climate anxiety, climate grief, if these are things that you are experiencing, your loved ones are wrestling with, people might be being affected by any of these things, and these really do affect a lot of people, especially younger people, it seems, then you might be interested in at least registering for, if you can't attend live, the Climate Psychology Alliance Summit, which is being run next weekend on the 20th of November. It's being live streamed out of the UK. So if you're in the US, the timing will be okay. If you're in Europe, the timing will be not much different. If you're in Australia, it's basically in the middle of the night. But if you register, then you can get access to the recordings. I've been invited to contribute to a panel discussion around climate trauma. So I'll just now, here we are, add a little link to the registration page for that event. If that's of any interest to you, then I'll look forward to seeing you there. It looks like that's just gone onto YouTube, so I'll add that into LinkedIn shortly. So look, I hope that might have been of interest to some of you, one of you perhaps. Would really love to hear any thoughts on this. And I shall return next week, I think with either another shout out or a knowledge quest. I haven't done either of those for a little while, so we'll see. I hope this has been good. Happy Friday if Friday is when you're watching this, and happy whatever day if it's coming to you at a later date. Take care.